Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome to my new series, Bits and Pieces Journal. And here's where I'm using all of my old excess scraps. I have it in a plastic bag, tons of it. I have more than one bag and I just need to use it up. So I'm going to fill my journal with just bits and pieces. And as you can see here, I take it out the bag and I'm sorting it into colors. So I'm creating palettes, my warmer palettes with the reds, orange, yellows, my cooler palettes with blues and purples, and then the greens and browns, black and whites. And so I have a palette that I am painting with. I'm painting with paper. I love using that term because it's exactly it. I remember doing collage at school and I had a professor who mentioned that, painting with paper. I'm like, what a beautiful idea. That's a great term, painting with paper. So what I'm going to do here is I started with the first page and I'm using the backing of the journal. So I'm using the backing of the journal. Now the first page I did, which was page number 1 on the white sheet, this is a mixed media pad. It is 5.5 by 8.5 inches, a great size to fill. Not intimidating you, it's not too big, any of that. And it's mixed media paper and the brand is Canson. So I'm going to be using that throughout the whole thing. But I wanted to use every inch of it. So that's why I'm using the cover as well. Now, I thought I hit record when I did that first page on the right, but guess what? Nope, I didn't. So you didn't get to see me do the first page, but it's just the way I'm doing it here, piecing together pieces. I'm ripping them, cutting them. Most of these are ripped, and I'm just using, some of them I don't even have to rip more because they're scraps, they're pieces from what I've used before. And I'm just piecing it together. Now, the trick about this, what I like to do, I'm not overthinking at all, but if I take a piece, I like to place it in different areas. So I might, like how I have the orange, and I pieced one piece to the left, one in the middle, one to the upper right. And I just do that to create balance throughout. So you're seeing something that's repeated. So some of the pattern ones are repeated, and then you have the painted papers. And I just love the painting papers in there. Look at that, hand painted, hand printed. It gives a really beautiful texture to it, visual texture, and also a painterly feel because you're feeling the paint on and the brush stroke on the paper. And I love it with the other types of paper that have more of a regular patterning to them. So I used a lot of those papers that I had from scrapbooking paper. So I'm mixing it with my painterly papers, and I think that always gives a beautiful effect. And yeah, just balancing off the tints and tones, right? So the darker tones and the tints. And a tint is a color mixed with white or a lighter color. So you're getting all the variations between light and dark. And it's all about layering, just all about layering, piecing it together. And as you can see, I'm using the glue I'm using. You can use Elmer's glue if you have, but I'm using acrylic medium. So it's nice and thinned out. It's a thin one. And sometimes if I have the other one that's a little heavier, I might thin it out to do something like this because the papers aren't very heavy. These papers that I'm using, most of them aren't. And you could also see the variation of papers that I used. I forgot to talk about that red that's torn across. That's tissue paper. So the tissue paper is beautiful because then you can see the other colors coming through. And that's always a nice feel. So, and I just finish it off with another layer of the acrylic medium because it's a glue, it's a sealant, it's acrylic, so it's like acrylic paint without a pigment. And every time I put it there and I cover it over, it creates a layer of protection. So there you have it, my page, my red spread just from scraps. Could you believe? A bag of scraps, I got this beautiful page.